cannot be empty, right? I mean, that's what I am. If I'm missing it wrong, anybody, it is required, meaning that it has to be there. Permissible, meaning that it could be there, it may not be there. But expected, meaning that it should be there, but cannot. It is expected to be there, but cannot be empty. So these three different varieties, okay, depending upon the code. This is the main indicator how the variables are being populated and all that stuff. So any questions till now?
Yes, I have a question.
Mhm.
Should we see your art studio or your you are
Oh,
you?
oh, I'm not presenting. Oh, my bad. I apologize. It's just I'm so new to present. How do I present everything?
I think you can move your presentation to your art studio screen or
I did that, and
oh
also I am trying to share
I
my.
think then you're not sharing your screen
So,
but the window.
yeah.
Okay,
So if you share
now
your entire screen, I think that's when it will show up.
I hope I will do this one. 1 second, I would share. Okay, let me share this one here. Hopefully, it would share both. Can you see the
Yes, now we see the
implementation
IG.
guide? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Now I apologize for you should have. I'm new to this sharing screen and all that stuff. I usually use Teams workplace, so I do not really don't know how to do that. I hope I can do the entire window. Why didn't it won't let me the entire window? Screening, sharing. Anyway, this is what I was trying to explain you earlier. Is they do have an SDTM IG guide, which is almost explains everything that it has to be collected, and how what kind of variables we need to have in what domain. So it is very explicit, very detail oriented. All those modal events. So we can talk some other day about how the SDTM classes are done, model for event domains, because it comes, AE comes under events domain, and within the event domain, like there is CEDS, and the healthcare outcomes. So medical history also comes in. Mostly, we have these domains under this classification, and within AE domain, there are a couple of variables that can be collected by the sponsor and must be required. So as I was talking about the core, here AE required documents. So you look at this one, right? So this was the one which indicates what variables are needed, what variables are expected, and what variables are permissible as per the study. Like as we collect the study, each study is different, right? So say for example, in AE domain, the AE body system or organ class is in an expected as per the code, this thing. So we tend to populate, or we tend to collect them in the CRM. So that is what it is. So we are expected to generate from that. So there is also a variable called body system organ class. It is expected, but I haven't seen this variable or this column being generated in some of the studies that I have been working on. So it depends upon, like as per the study, like all the metadata classes, which columns need to be there, which columns can be avoided, and all the stuff, depending upon this core variable. If the core variable says required, it is supposed to be there. You cannot avoid it. Otherwise, the Pinnacle 21 would give out an error saying that the required variables are not there, but if they are permissible, it would say that it has to be there and all that stuff. So now coming back to why there are some variables, say for example, AE duration. See here, AE duration. We're going to discuss in detail about some of the variables here. But say for example, here there is a variable that I want to bring notice of the study group is there is some kind of variables called AE duration. This is not collected, but actually derived within our study within our SDTM. And even though it is done, but it is permissible depending upon collected duration, all that stuff. And some of the functionality, some of different things that we are doing in the Admiral package could be that, these are the functions. We write it down as a function and make sure that it has been derived. So this, I mean, like, I have this thing, like usually it says that it is an SDTM variable, the AE duration. AE duration is that we also derive that in the Adam data sets in the ADAE. So just to make sure that it is done right and wrong or whatever it is, but it is a different way of doing it and all that stuff. So, but IG, the SDTM IG does says that AE duration is a permissible variable, and it could be there or it need not be. So some of them are overlapping, but I just want to make sure that the origin or why we are doing some variables is because of the IG, the guide asks us to do it. So any questions here, Julian? I mean, other day I was looking at your post on Slack. Does it answer any of your questions till now? No, but why do we do this one?
Yes, I think it's getting much clearer now. Yes.
Yeah. So the CRF is the foundation that we are doing it, and then the IG. So I just wanted to point out the IG. Like you have to be mostly acquainted with what this IG, SDTM IG starting with. So once SDTM IG is clear enough, what there are timing variables, it explains a lot about the timing variables and all those grouping variables and all that stuff. So once it is done, then we go let me go back to the Slack, Zoom, screen sharing. Okay, the screen share, new share, sorry. It is, where is my bad? I was trying to, okay, let me close one of them. Maybe that's the reason why it is not letting me.
One thing you can do for sharing the screen, you can actually share the whole screen instead of just one element.
That is what I was trying to do it. Share everything. Okay, advanced PowerPoint, virtual audio, video, files, basic. It doesn't let me to do it. I mean, like not more than one. It does not let me to do it. I don't know why. Sorry about that. I apologize for that. Share layout options. Sound. I was trying to do it.
So you don't have like the option of sharing screen 1 or screen 2 or something like that?
Yeah, that is what usually we do have it like that. Somehow I did not. It's turned off that just says only share only one file at a time. That is very strange anyway. Let me close this ZDM IG and open up the documents. 1 second. Open up my downloads and IG documentation. Okay, implementation guide and okay, and sharing against. Okay, now hopefully there's a new share here.
Now we can see the RStudio file.
No, RStudio, right? But
yes.
I'm also making sure this is OCCDS. Okay. 1 second. I really don't know what's happening here today. My bad. Okay. Do you see the ADAM OCDA implementation guide here? Or you don't?
No. At this point, you're not sharing.
Anything? Okay. I clicked on it. Share screen one. Okay, now it is letting me to screen one. Okay, now I see
Yes,
that
now we can see the screen.
screen,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
I will push everything here. Timing variables. Do you see this one here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, now I'll just try to stick to this one, this screen, hopefully. And once you have this Adam IG being implemented, meaning that you have the SDTM data sets. We do have for implementation guide. So once SDTM is ready, we have 4 data sets ready, meaning that those are the data sets coming from the CRF or the raw data. In some customers or some clients call them their raw data, meaning that they are not processed, no changes done, no derivations mostly at SDTM level. So they get that, they get all the data sets into the SDTM level. And once the SDTM level is stable, or most of the time it has been generated or ready to go, as the statisticians take a look, and also the programmers will also take a look to make sure that what kind of tables that you are generating or what kind of tables that you are doing it would be done. So then we do have an ADAM IG data sets where we are going to derive all this kind of variables where the AE end date or AE depending upon what kind of timing variables we are working on. There are list of there's a huge list of tables that we the ADSL variables and AD. Hopefully AE is also here in this document that I have opened up here. Yeah, ADAE class, the descriptive class. So we do have adverse events. So the severities, these variables are going to be derived. Make sure which can be used by tables. Okay, so this is a process where the ADAM data sets are used for tables, and SDTM data sets are used for ADAM data sets. Okay, so this is a 3-step process, and the IG especially indicates what kind of variables we want. See this one, if you see on the top, that it is a PDF document which I've downloaded, but you can go to their website and you can register yourself, and it says ADAM guide. This is an implementation guide. Okay, so this is where we'll know what kind of data, what kind of variables needs to be derived, or how it is to be derived, or where it is, what is going to be the format, what going to be the labels. All this going to be explained in detail here. Any questions on this one, Julian?
Yes,
I'm just trying to pick you up because I think you are the only one. I mean, you are the one with little less knowledge about these guides, right? So I'm just trying to tell you that this is the one, and these are the fundamental principles of using or deriving. I mean, guiding you to what functions that you can use in an Admiral or in any other function. You see that, I mean, that how they did is using these guides, implementation guides, they have analyzed it, and they went back and created that.
Okay. So Admiral is basically implemented to comply with these implementation guides.
Yes, exactly. These are the ones which are the guiding principles of creating those functions. You should be having something, right, in proper, where, like how, why they have did it, or the somewhere, somehow, they need to have guidance document. And that guidance document is nothing but these IGs.
Yeah, so the Admiral is just a low-code platform, I think. So we
Uh,
don't have to really know R to really program stuff.
I beg to differ that Admiral is basically built on deploy packages. So Admiral is a functionality, right? All those functions. Sometimes I'll show you. I'm going to walk you through it. But Admiral has been built upon. If you go to their source code, it's mostly the deploy package in behind.
Yeah, but we as programmers, we don't have to really understand that part. We just need to know, like, if you want to, for example, with the imputation, what type of imputation you want, and then how to populate all the fields. But we don't really have to be R programmers to use Admiral. That's the biggest advantage.
Base R programmers. You mean to say base R programmers or no R programming needed? That's what you're saying.
Limited. We don't need
Oh,
to
limited.
be.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yes. To
It
start.
facilitates going from SAS to R.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're right. You're right. I mean, it helps most of the people without any. I cannot say any, but very limited knowledge of base R to make sure that they can do it, and they do not have to really worry about a lot of things that's happening behind the screen. It does a lot of things behind the screen. So.
Yeah, for example, we don't have to know writing functions in R. That's a really advanced skill. Yeah, so if you know some manipulations, data manipulation or wrangling activities, it's fine.
So it's easier for example, someone who comes from deeper knowledge of CDs can these standards to just use these functions because he or she is going to know what he needs just out of the box, like because the functions are very descriptive and they have behind the scenes they are doing a lot of stuff for you already.
Yep. So I see that's kind of a thing that I was trying to do today. So local host, I know that this is on the local host right now because it's still trying to do it. I'm trying. I tried to push it today, but it did not let me do it. The reason being that is hopefully you can see the screen here, right?
Yes.
My screen ADAM trying to fetch. It is trying to still fetch a bad assist. There is a there's something called WebR. That I don't know how many of you have heard about it or not, but it makes us to do a book on Go. Basically it is like having an R installed on a web page, meaning that you don't need a R installation or anything to do it. It is a web page right now. It is an HTML page. You can run the code right now here. So, okay, now let's talk about this SDTM level. I was able to generate a raw data set, just to make sure that we can, for the purpose of display today. It is going to be a little slower, I know, and that's the reason why behind the screens something is done. Okay, here the basic domain, these are the fundamental variables of an SDTM domain, is steady ID, domain ID, and a sequence ID, okay, for any of the SDTM domains. And mostly because this is an AE domain that I'm talking about today, it is going to be AE sequence ID, okay? So if we see that, just for display of purpose of this one today, I am going to rerun the code and it is going to print out anything, like we can implement this one, some kind of, dynamic textbook or something where you can enter anything over the browser. You don't need to have an R installed anywhere. Now, getting back to our business is, the SDTM domain that we are going to use would be having AE term. AE term is nothing but what is happening, right? Like you in a regular study, what happens is a person would be will be given a treatment, some kind of a treatment, and could be having a placebo or need not be. There could be studies where it's just a placebo, just a treatment, direct treatment, depending upon the study. Okay, you do not have to be always a placebo, always something. But once a treatment is given, he would have some kind of adverse events, some kind of events. Either it could be triggered by the drug or need not be from the drug, but he would have symptoms. So now will be how we are going to indicate is that we're going to collect that information. Okay, we are going to collect that information and store and map into the SDTM SDTM.ae domain. Okay, and that's AE decode is nothing but the derivation of the AE term is a verbatim reported, and AE decode is a standardized decode term, meaning that headache, say for example, in the study in the CS, he could have written it as small h or uppercase H, or a headache is spelled out as head and there's a space and ache is there, or just he would have said very ache in the head and something like that. But the decode term is going to standardize all of them and put it down into one kind of letter. That is where the decode is being populated. Okay, so once the decode is there, we're going to make sure the decode is done. And there is something called seriousness, meaning that if there's an AE term and that AE term has resulted in serious death, so you have to find out if that adverse events have resulted in death, and you have to, as per the SOPs, one of the SOPs is that you have to report that AE severity, if it is a death or something which is really bad, to the regulatory authorities, so that within the 24 hours. So for that reason, we're going to have serious AE serious adverse events. These are the variables, AE serious events, and resulted in high level term, low level term, and also depending upon what kind of severity it is and all that stuff. Okay, these are some of the variables that you are going to derive and find out, and if it is seriousness or hospitalization is done or all those things, you can take a look at it. But this is we're not going to talk about the R code today, but these are the various criteria that we'll be using. These are only some of the criteria that I thought about it, but there could be many more as per the study. And some of them are death, fatal, life-threatening, and these are things, and these are the ones which are used for finalizing the AE severity. Okay, is it AE severity is yes or no? If it is yes, then follow-up actions are done for different people. If it is no, then we'll continue with the category and all that stuff. Okay, so those kind of things are also done. And this is a tips and scenarios. You can always take a look. And AE out is another AE outcome. Okay, these are the other variables depending upon what's happening. We'll be deriving that AE outcome and AE related. Okay, you see the flow of change, right? Why we are deriving some variables. Okay, we are collecting the information, we are categorizing them as severity or non-severity, and then we are finding out if it is related. Okay, so if it is related, then we what's an outcome, and then we are trying to find out, is it related to the drug or not related to the drug. And then if it is related to the drug, then we are trying to categorize mild as a mild, moderate, or severe. Okay, this is the most basic category of AE data set, like mild, moderate, and severe. Imagine that this is the most generalized question that one of the favorite questions that we ask for the people that who are doing it is like, if a subject had a mild, moderate, and severe within from starting from baseline to end of all the visits. Say for example, for a subject, he came back for 12 visits, and he had a mild headache at the baseline, and it became a moderate, but later on it became either severe or became mild. Which category do you pick up? So the generalized assumption is we always pick up the most severe one, meaning if it is a mild and moderate, we'll pick up the moderate. If it is moderate and severe, we're going to pick up the severe for the tables. So you understand that structure. For that structure, we need to do some kind of a categorization and all that stuff. But apart from that, these are the three categories at SDTM level. We're going to categorize that, and we're going to store it under AE severity variable. Okay. Now the toxicity is something I just made up some kind of the part. There is an Excel file, or kind of, it's called CTCAE grading, where you use that grading file into the R or SAS or whatever it is, and you recategorize it and create a toxicity grade. And most of the time, just pardon me if I'm wrong, or maybe somebody may correct me, that most of the time the toxicity grade is done on oncology studies. We do have this toxicity grade used a lot. At least I saw that the toxicity grade is used a lot in oncology studies rather than pain, or I didn't see that. Maybe Sonakshi, have you seen this toxicity grade in any of your studies?
Not really, not really.
Yeah, but I have seen them a lot. Toxicity grades are the fundamental grading system in oncology studies, and this is done mostly by using CTCAE grading. You can download that PDF depending upon what you want, and you can categorize it. You basically categorize it, and this is just code that I just made it up. There's nothing there in there. And also, okay, now AELAT represents the latency of adverse events. This is also something, you collect that in the SDTM level, but it is all derived. I mean, what all I represented here is, even though they are collected at the SDTM level, these are all derived at the SDTM level. Okay, once you have all these things at the SDTM level, you're fine to go. Then we use ADAM metadata. I'm going here to ADAM data. It is fetching it back from the RStudio. I'm going to put that my entire book over here. I went through the IG document and also made my own notes depending upon what are the different variable terms. Let's say, for example, the term, it is generalized term, where if you see, it could be AE term or VS term or anything, as a placeholder, it keeps that the two-letter domain and represents an actual metadata. Okay, so it could be like once you open an ADAM data set, any ADAM data. So for example, if you have opened up ADAE, I'm sorry, if ADAM data sets AE terms, okay, you'll see something called AE term within ADAM ADAE. Sorry, I'm not able to spell it out, but so this is what it has been derived and all the stuff. So we can go through it later on, but depending upon the time today. But these are all actually instructed how we can derive in the IG document that I was showing a little earlier. In the IG document, it would have everything, data sets, data structure, OCCDS structure, if most of the time we collect the SDTM data set, which are all required, and there are sometimes we do not know where can it go. It cannot, either it can go in AE or in IE, depending upon that. So if we are not sure what we do is we try to put the information that is being collected in CRF regarding the AE. But if you're not sure if you can put it in an SDTM data sets, then you put them in sub AE. Okay, there's a supplement of AE where you try to put that, and the main concept of collecting the data is never, ever lose any data. If it is collected in CRF, make sure you try to get that either in SDTM level, SDTM data sets, or in supplementary data sets, so that you do not want to lose any data or any information about the subjects, because it takes a lot of time and effort and money to collect the data, and you never want to lose it. So that's the very reason why either you put it in SDTM level or at AE data set or sub AE data set. So you have all the information. Nothing is nothing is loose. So depending upon where it is, the primary is SDTM input and the subclass of AE data sets and other supplementary data sets. So you have AE data set, SDTM level AE data set, and sub AE data set. And we use both of them as per needed to generate ADAM AE data set. So ADAM is done the next level. Okay, so that's one thing that you have to keep in mind. So I made, of course, this is gone something, I'm trying to fix this one, but anyway, there's this is one of the tables that I try to recreate it in the Cohort document. I don't know why I did not like it, but meaning this is an overflow of it, but you can take a look at it. The ADSL that we already discussed would be having one single this thing and all that stuff. So we can go through that document, or I will just try to push this one over to this thing where there's a lot of information about why it is required and what's needed to be done, and the variables, reported term. I was talking about it, right? Reported term. If it is AE, there's AE report, AE term, AE decode, dictionary terms. These are all the required variables, and the required code lists are all. These all go into the code list. Where it says reported term is nothing but the label of the term. These are all already fixed for you. You do not have to do any guesswork, meaning that if it is an AE term, then it should be labeled as reported term, making sure that there is no ambiguity or no kind of second guess to be done by the programmer. Most of these variables are always fixed, and they use these variable labels and all that stuff. Okay, so you understand where this metadata is coming now from, Julian? You understand, right? You had an Excel file.
Yes, it's very clear. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we had an Excel file, right? And you must be guessing it. How they got it? They got it because from the IG, the IG clearly said if it is a term, then it should be labeled as a term. And it also tells us, as this is a format, what kind of format it is, and we'll go through it, but also tells us what kind of formality, the table, it indicates what kind of tables it is done, very clearly what table category, how it is done. These are all the OCCDS structure, meaning that it could be used for ADMH or ADAE and one of the more other than, okay? The timing variables. This also says that timing variables where what timing variables it is copied from the SDTM. That's what I made my notes. My notes say, as per my SDTDC, because it is collected, this is the CRF. In the CRF, you will be given what time, date and time. Mostly you collect it as individuals, what day, what month, and what year. It will be 3 different fields. So most of the time you concatenate them and make sure, even if the time is needed, like say, for example, why time is needed, the injection, say injection has to be given or a medication is given in a 24-hour clock. So if something happens that it was supposed to be taken at the midnight, say for example, that study is done some kind of a way. So 00, it starts as 005, 59. If that's missing, or if it is taken 1 second or 1 minute later on, it could go into second day, right? So those kind of small technical details has to be captured in a way and that is captured in the CRF. You understand? So that's the reason why that is the importance of date and time. We collect the date and time because of the design of the study. And these SDTCC and NDTC are the SDTM data sets, variables, sorry. And those variables are made, copied it over and transformed into numerical variables in the atom level, at atom level. And if I'm not wrong, at SDTM level, we try to avoid numerical dates, meaning that most of the variables that are given or collected in SDTM level are character variables. And we try to transform them into numerical variables for the sake of our own programming purposes, meaning that, if you want to calculate differences or, some kind of modeling work, or I think it could be done most easily using a date, numerical date, rather than a character date. I mean, I'm coming from the world of SAS where it does that way. And, that's the reason why we try to convert them into numerical dates in an atom level and make sure that all these derive. I'm going to talk about that functionalities, where it is coming from, but this AESTT, atom STTM, all are derived using that functions, derived functions at metal level doing that. You see why we are doing it right now, right?
Yes.
So see that, and also this format, 8601 format, is defined as a de facto standard by the IG people. The IG people told that they want to see, or they want to have that in an 8601 format. So all these reasons why those things are always in that format: year, YYY, month, day, there's a time, hours, minutes, and seconds. So this is the one format, and that is the format they are trying to look. Now these are all the relative days, and the relative days are also being defined as difference. Analysis starts relative date. Relative date is basically number of dates starting from the treatment start date and the AE start date. That is how it is going to be, the difference of the dates. And what should you do if there is a one date is missing, meaning that AE start date is missing or treatment start date is missing. So there's a lot of other things that you keep in mind, and the functions takes care of that. Okay. So those kind of things, numeration, it is a day, and analysis numerical thing, and all period. I mean, there's one more period, like where it will be defined as what kind of period. Usually the OCCDS structure or these things, they define period, what period it took place. Does it took place in the period 1 or period 2? This definition of a period would be mostly defined in the SAP or in the no, not it won't be defined in the protocol, but it's going to be defined, predefined, and it would say the treatment has done, like if the subject has visited for 12 weeks or 24 weeks, he would be he will be in the period 1, a period 1, and if he has gone beyond 24 weeks, he'll be in a period 2. Okay, so it depends. I mean, it is, the definition is there in the SAP, and you have to look at that before you derive the a period. Okay, these are all relative terms. You cannot take it for granted that all the studies or all of them will be defined. And also it's the same thing with a phase. A phase will be defined as per the SAP and changes from study to study, and where it has these are all again the defined terminology, where it is screening or on treatment or follow up. Okay, so you make sure those kinds of things been taken up. And we do have indicator variables, and I am trying to go a little faster because reason for being that the time is also there. I took a little bit of time, the technology thing, my bad. The analysis flag will be derived as per the indicator, yes, the code list is basically yes or no, depending upon that. This is also conditionally required, meaning that you can or you need not, but we mostly derive the analysis flag. This is one of the most important flags, which tells us what kind of information is used for the tables. If analysis flag is 1, yes, we are keeping that. There are sometimes within that regard, if the screen failure or some kind of information is, and we indicate it as no, then we don't actually use that. If there's a treatment not taken, if the treatment is missing or some kind of thing, then we derive that analysis flag as yes or no. And depending upon that, we just make sure that we do not use it or use it, okay? So that's the reason why you have to make sure you understand why it is being done. And the other most important variable that we use or derive is a treatment emergent flag. In short, basically treatment emergent flag is basically if the adverse event that happened to the subject is after the study drug taken or not. See, that's a main thing, right? That is a goal, or that is what we are trying to get. The entire study is you have taken a pill. That pill, maybe say for example, curing the headache, and you have taken that pill on today, like July 21st, and after that I start measuring the headaches. If the headaches on yesterday my headache was mild, after taking the pill, does it has gone zero level, or it went up, or it went down, or stayed same? No, baseline. You compare it with baseline, right? And you start categorizing it, or you will be knowing it, what kind of happened, emergent treatment, emergent adverse events. If it became really serious after taking the adverse events, and it became a fatal or those things, we'll be calculating on using this treatment emergent flag, making sure the flag has been taken care. There are a lot of other things also done, and you derive this treatment emergent flag depending upon the definition that has been given to you, and those kinds of variables like emergent excess flag. There's different a lot of different flags that the IG allows you to calculate, and these are all being listed out, and depending upon that, there's a functionality in admiral function where you can define it. Okay, there's a treatment emergent flag that you want to do it, and also concomitant medication. Sometimes we do it, sometimes we don't it, but that is you see it as different on treatment period. Okay, ONT, that's a little bit different, but that's the reason why I try to put it out here. Yeah, sometimes we do have a pre-treatment flag and then follow flags. These are all flags because we just want to find out what exactly happened after taking the medication, before taking the medication, and after certain period of taking the medications. Okay, so these are all things you can go through it line by, like variable by variable. I know it is a lot, we cannot cover them. So once we know what kind of variables we are looking for or why we are looking for. Okay, so once we're done, I am going to go, of course it takes 2 seconds to fetch. Okay, it could not fetch, that's fine. Metadata, I wanted the both ADA compared. Okay, now I would skip the part where I was creating an ADAM data, this thing. You can create your own data sets, or you can bring it out from one of the ZTM data sets available. And what we do is basically the reason we do a couple of things is we do not want to store all the information or in one table, one data sets. It's like information that is coming from AE. We create an ADAM data set, right? And this is a habit of the programmer, of the team, or there is no hard and fast rule, but most of the time you want to generate a data set which is one procedure away in SAS, meaning that you have all the information needed for the tables that are needed to be generated within one data set or ADAM data set. Okay, That's the reason why you try to have the information from AE and also the information from the DM domain or ADSL domain, okay? All in relevant information, you try to merge it back. And usually the deployer way of doing it, I wanted to show both the ways today, just to show that how and why Admiral needs to be appreciated, okay? That's the reason why. So what we do is a left join on the DM dataset, right? And we'll get all the information, and like deriving the steady days. Okay, the steady days as we do is different, diff time and has numeric. We have to do all these things, making sure that the ASDTM is being collected, all that stuff. All those, and I made sure that I did not run it because there was a problem with this kind of things. I don't know why, but anyway, you have a flag. We were talking about a flag, right? Ongoing flag, serious flag, or relative flag where it has been identified. So we can do that, all that stuff in deployer, toxicity grade and all that stuff. So the treatment emergent flag, I just wanted to show you this one, how we do it within using the deployer package. Okay, within the deployer package, event started. So this is the standard way of checking that. 7 days started from the ASDTM, basically the start date, event start date after the treatment and before the treatment end date. Okay, see, that's what I said, treatment end date plus 7 days buffer. So it started, you have taken some medication, the event start date, and then the event ended. It has to be in different, in between that window, within that window, and you add 7 days just to make sure that we have captured that. So treatment emergent event indicates the event start date during or after the treatment exposure. This is the most common important AE flag. That's what I wanted to. And see this one, there's a tip that wanted to share. Treatment emergent window, the definition of treatment emergent often includes a buffer period, 7 or 30 days, depending, depends upon actually, again, the study design after the last dose to capture the events, meaning that sometimes the event could have happened after the treatment emergent event, stop date. Start date happened, we took a pill in between the close to the window, and then the, closing date has happened, but we just make sure that we go 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, depending on study, to make sure that the headache has not been really worse or been adverse events. So we need to know, as per the SAP, how long we can go and how can we calculate the treatment emergent adverse event. Okay, so that's been done. So these things, the Admiral package, okay, the Admiral package, everything that can be done in Admiral, the way we were doing it, can be done using their own defined functions, meaning that I don't know why the Admiral is not working today for me, so that's the reason why I couldn't run it. Just run it, meaning that the package that I'm using, it somehow had to be replaced or something, I don't know. But I am going to go over here, provides a dedicated functions, okay, derived functions, like say, this is what I wanted to point out today, is Admiral provides a dedicated functions for date and day, often like say, derive as ADY. There is something, see this one, derive was merged, okay, this is the functionality of Admiral. This actually does nothing but the left join or right join or what variables that you want to put in, or you do not override. That you get a lot of issues, right? Sometimes if you do not really know what you're doing in the left join, that we did here for getting where was that? Okay, mutate functions, left join here. Sorry. If you have not selected the right and all those things, although you just need to know the deployer, right? If you do not know it, that's still fine. What it does is this Admiral package makes sure that you use derived vars.merge. You provide variables what you need and new variables that are being created, and it takes care of that issue. Okay, so you define what all the variables needed, and this does the derives merge is a functionality or this function underneath takes care of the left or right or merge, depending upon how the data structure is written on deploy. So this is a function written on deploy. Any questions on this one till now?
No, maybe we can also add that it's a function also used in the other data structures.
Yes, sorry,
Yes.
I did not check the meeting chat. My bad. I am so naive at it. But yeah, start and shoot. Did we say that or did we not?
Yeah, Priyanka did.
Oh, did my bad. Thank you. This is my second time or third time me being the presenter. I'm a little nervous, but yes, you are right. This is universal. This is not only AE. You can use it for ADVS or ADMH or anything, depending upon whatever it is. You use derive underscore vars merge with the input. It takes a couple of inputs. Basically it takes if you look at the help, help here, I was just trying to do it. I'm trying to share this one, my screen. Hopefully you can see it. Okay, it did not come through. 1 second. In the help page, you can see it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it does, right? It does have a data set, add what data set you are adding to, by variables, and also, missing values. There are a lot more things that you can do it as per this one, what you call the documentation. So ample of examples. You can filter it. There's a lot of things that you can do. It's just not only merging, and it takes more than simple full join or log join, or it takes a lot of it has more functionalities, and that's a very reason why I appreciate Admiral package rather than, just my opinion on it. But people who have done it or you haven't done it, or that's a different thing. But they are lot more things, and that can be done using simple merge statement. Okay, derive as merge. So that's one thing. And then the day, my God, my practical experience is handling the dates using HMS or kind of date, all that stuff is going to be a little bit nightmare because of missing, or the kind of formats and all that stuff. But my happiness, or my suffering has got reduced a lot using the data underscore var ADY, ADTM, and all that stuff. Until you have used the Admiral, declared package, and you find a lot of issues, you don't come here to appreciate this one. So that's my take on it. You have you can use derive var ADY of, you just indicate what kind of variable that you are taking it, and what variable you are trying to is a new variable, and reference start date. Okay, you can be, you've seen that it is a character date. Here it is a numerical date. Hypothetically speaking, but beauty of it is that it is going to convert all of them, make sure that it is properly converted, and you produce the difference of dates. Okay, so that's one of the functionalities you are going to use is derive var ADY, and this is Sonakshi was pointing out, this is general among all. You can use it for BDS structure, you can use it for ADSL structure, or for OCCDS structure. It is irrespective of that. And then say for example, I offers here ongoing severity, or related, right? Those we were talking about. IG has a flagging variables. Okay, the flagging variables, the Admiral is simply, say for example, AE ongoing package. So we derive it direct copy, and then also we can derive flags using derived flag value related, AE related, and all that stuff is possibly related using the condition and new flag, AE related. So AE derived flag value would create new flags as per the CDIC standards. Okay, so that's the reason why we have this flag. Somebody has a chat. Okay.
No, just adding like flagging variables is typical CDISC, yeah.
Yes, it helps. It helps in our
Population.
subsetting. Say for example, you want to have this table, data set or a listing of tables, hypothetically speaking, for all the possibly related. So what we do is use this flag, condition flag, relative flag, and then we can do it. Or we need all of them, right? Among all of them, we are definitely related and probably related and possibly related, all of them together. So what we do is we use this flag equal to 1 or equal to y, and then generate the tables. So lot of tables, you do not want to recreate everything, all the data related stuff again and again. That's the reason why you create flags. And this is a notification, this note that SGTM standards are very rigid, meaning that they have following set of variables or required or permissible or those kind of requirements. You cannot go beyond that. Say if there are some variable information, you put it in sub qualifiers and then just use it. But in ADAM, you have a leg room to create flag variables, or you kind of extend them. You can keep on increasing a little bit, not a lot, but there is a flexibility of creating flags for our own analysis flag. Okay, so that's the reason why we create flags within the ADAM, and that is done using the derived flag values. There is one, the severities that I was talking about, before, how we can derive this thing. Okay, the AE severity and severity toxic rate have, and recently the what you call there is a cohort which is working on submitting the FDA to there's a cohort working basically trying to submit the data for FDA using R and JSON and all that stuff. And we were doing it this way, the Admiral package using this one. And Ben, the one who wrote the examples of the book, he suggested us to use metacode packages wherever there is the Excel file is available to us, or the format catalog is to us, so that it will be much easier rather than doing it in the mutate form. Okay, so just trying to tell you, that this is an FYI information. You can do it using the Admiral, or also use the metacode package wherever there is a code list available. Okay, so that is what I was trying to say. This mild, moderate, severe, always the same. No matter what, you always make it as 1. Moderate is always 2 and 3. And why we do that? The logic is, the general rule is within the visits, within the information, always the severity comes, if it happens more than once, say mild, moderate, severe happens, multiple times within this thing, you always pick up the worst grade, meaning mild and moderate will pick up moderate. If it happens mild, moderate, and severe, we always pick up the severe, and moderate and severe, we always pick up the severe. Okay, so that is the thumb rule, or that is the logic, and that's the reason why we always pick it 1 to 3. And we sort it either, of course, if you're a SAS programmer, you sort it descending or ascending, depending upon where, and pick up the first or last dot within this data frame or data set. Any question on the logic or why we do this one in this way? Any questions here? Any comments?
No, I think it was very clear.
Right? You understand why we do certain things in certain way instead of going and just running the code. Running the code sometimes, okay, you get boredom. Why we are doing it? We know no logic. Why should I say 1 to 3? I could have said 3 to 1, right? Or 3. But this is the logic. This is the actual reason why we have mild, moderate, and severe, and then have a numerical variables. And for that, we use mutate, which is a R code. You don't have, I mean, I don't have to say anything more than that, but we create AESCV, which is the character, and AESCVN, which is numerical. And the reason for creating a numerical variable is for getting the first dot or last dot of that subject for that visit. Okay. And we do have, I was talking about the treatment emergent flag, right? I mean, this is the one of the most important flags that we derive. And you have seen the, what you call the code, the declare code, the few steps up. I don't want to go back, but see this one, we do have admiral function, which does all the hard work for us. Just need to provide or give them what variables that we need for the derived variable treatments. And treatment flag is a new variable, starting date, ending date, and the buffer zone. We were talking about a buffer zone of 7, right? So we need this one. And, it would go back, end date, and all. If there is missing, you can, it will take care of it. Well, from other things, it will take a lot of, it assumes a couple of things, make sure that you need to understand this derived treatment emergent flag a little bit better, because it does a lot of thing and generates one of the most important flag in ADAE. Okay. So you need to understand it a little bit, but the documentation or help page would help you out. But I would rather use derive var underscore treat emergent event from admiral package rather than from dplyr, because in the dplyr it can take a lot of time or effort and all those things, and sometimes you forget the buffer zone to add in, and that could cause trouble. And just make sure that buffer zone has to be done or 0 can be done. You can a lot of things. And the functionality, as I was talking about the diff, the function is highly configurable, directly implements the ADAM structure, including the ongoing events, a buffer zone, and it is very powerful standard way of to derive this. So that's the reason why they have to make a functionality for deriving this flag and rather than dplyr. Okay, so these are all direct these things through by these are all things that you can go through it. And finally, we bring in advantages and disadvantages. I already told them, but I just wrote it down for the sake of people who would come back later on as kind of any questions on why we are doing it, or any questions upon the functionality.
No, I don't think there are many. I actually really like this book, so that I can come to it later.
Yes,
So,
I'm going to push it. I'm going to push it. The only thing it is not letting me here is a living, like it's an R, right? I was talking about. What you can do is you do not have to go or have an R resource anymore. You can directly work on here. That's the beauty of this one. I was trying to get that, try to push it to either GitHub or in any place where it works, but my tokens or something has got, all the things happen on the day that you want to present. So that is what happened. I'm trying to get back to this page. 1 second. That it is dynamically done. No, the way it does is if you go to the here, I'm trying to push. Maybe somebody can understand what's happening. There's something called Shiny Live and Shiny WebR. What it does is automatically, if you generate them, the web page here, see, installing the pages and all that stuff. So you can run them, and you can do whatever you want on the go. You do not have to install R or anything. You can just learn from the book right there and there. Say, for example, here, I think I ran it. It will show me the history and all that stuff. But let me rerun it just because of the seed. I don't know, maybe the seed is causing it or something. Once you do that, you see that here you can copy the code and also rerun it and reset it. And I was trying to show you right earlier. It does. It prints everything. Yeah, it shows how you can change. You do not have to say if you do not want to see any of those. You just want to see the term, just use subject ID. I'm just doing that, just to show and draw. You do not want to even sequence. Let's leave it, and you just want to print it out. See this one, it shows only those things. And you can go ahead and what kind of decode if we are running it. So we can print it out and see change. You can do whatever you want right there and there. You do not have to really go back. Okay, I have to rerun that. Something is running it. Something, it takes time. Maybe my internet connection or something, but it was perfectly fine little earlier. But somehow it has happened that case when why it is not doing it. Unexpected, something is unexpected. Okay, something has happened, but anyway, I'm trying to fix this one. Yeah. Sorry.
I think maybe you have one somewhere. Maybe you have one extra black bracket right now.
Yeah. All right. Unexpected terms in some kind of syntax error. I'm trying to work this thing, but anyway, I'll try to fix this one. But this is what it does. It does a lot of helpful things that you can do it. You do not have to really do changes and all that. You can run it, and you do not have to go and open up an RStudio and plays and all that stuff. You can get everything done. And maybe that is what something it is not able to push it, but I'll try to work on as per the newest thing is that Web Live works on books. It does work. It does work. Cohort Shine Live, WebR both works. Once I fix it, I'm going to push it. But we do not need R. Go back to R and do it. That's what my intention is. You do not have to go back to R to practice. It's better do all of them at one place. Anyway, that's something extra that I'm doing it right now. Maybe I'll fix it, and probably if I have any questions, I'll find out with Slack and all that stuff. But any questions on the book today? I would say end of my presentation.
I think it's good to say end now. Yeah. And thank you very much, Phani, because it was a very thorough explanation, which was very good for me to understand better